Good morning. We'll begin our service this morning with the ringing of the bell. Little Laurie will ring the bell. Thank you, Laurie. And the lighting of the Christ candle. And now, if you will, repeat with me our opening statement, and you'll find that on the inside of your bulletin. We'll say that together. There is only one presence and one power. Now take just a moment with me to consider that prayer within your heart. And now let's repeat it once more together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the great, omnipotent. And so it is. Our psalms this morning will be led by our wonderful Ron and accompanied by our equally wonderful Jeff.
All right. What's that? Yeah. That's right. I understand that Jim Snyder was very good last week. I had a talk with him. I told him he has to turn the talent a little back down because it's causing me a little problem. So if you'll remind him next time, he substitutes for me. Anyway, we're very fortunate to have him. Would you please stand? We'll do Surely the Presence.
Songs all the time, so number 267. 274.
Excuse me. Welcome to Kanawha Valley, Unity of Kanawha Valley. Do we have anyone here for the first time? Hi there.
Hi there, Nancy Dooley.
Nancy Dooley. It's nice to meet you. Let's give her a warm Unity welcome. And what's your name? You're Travis. I didn't recognize you with your mask. Travis is here. There he is. And Laurie's back from Barbados. Woo! Just for a visit. We welcome you. We're glad to see you both. It's been a while. Okay, our announcements this week. Gosh, can you believe Christmas is almost here? I'm not even ready. No. But let's see. We are having our gift. Yes. Is that better? Was that me? Okay. We are having our gift basket auction today. You can see a lot of wonderful items to bid on. So after church, it will be held here in the sanctuary, and that will be amazing. We'll all go home with a little less money, more money for the church, and wonderful presents. How's that? Can't wait. We are still collecting luggage and backpacks for the Davis Children's Shelter. We've talked about that before. You know all about that. It's in your bulletin. The Sojourner Shelter, they're collecting gifts for the children at the shelter for this month. Please bring your gift wrapped or in a bag and specify the gender and the age that it's for the child on the tag. So the children at the shelter are from 1 to 18 years old, and next Sunday is the deadline to drop those off. There's also another project that's near and dear to our hearts, and that's supplying shoes for those in need who are on the streets with no shoes to wear. And this is something that has been precipitated by a friend of ours from Unity who lost her daughter recently to addiction. So if you have any gently worn tennis shoes, hiking shoes, those kind of things, please bring them. And there is a tote at the bottom or in the activity room downstairs for those, and she gets them once a week. Advent booklets are on the tables in the sanctuary. And we are a tithing church, so don't forget that 10% of your donation goes to help Unity of Kanawha Valley and those in need around the community. We still need volunteers to serve as ushers, and daily word readers. And our candle lighting service, one of the most beautiful services we have, is coming up. It will be December 15th, which is that this Wednesday? Wow. See, I told you it was going fast. At 7 p.m. Pam needs volunteer candle lighters. Let her know if you'd like to light one of the candles. Pam, are you going to be gone for that? You're going to be gone, right?
No, I'm not leaving until Friday.
Okay, good deal. But then she'll be gone for the solstice concert, right? Yeah. So tickets are on sale. That's the next item on the loaded bulletin today. Our solstice concert is Tuesday, December 21st, and the tickets are on sale for that. They're $15 in advance and $20 at the door. And I'm sure there's tons of amazing performers, tons, that altogether they probably weigh 2,000 pounds, that were on getting ready for that. So get your ticket or call Pam, and she can supply you with one. Woody Holly Concert's coming up for the first time in a long time, right? The season will kick off with the John Lilly tribute on January 8th. Get your season tickets for that on the Clay Center website, or you can buy just a single ticket if you'd like. Shoo! I need some water. Your turn.
That's how we do it here. Your turn. Well, it's great to have everybody with us, and great to have folks who haven't been with us in a while. Wes and Susie Davis, Travis, who is Janie Kaufman's son, yes, and Lori Helga, and I've asked Lori because she has such amazing adventures. I've asked her to say a little bit something later on as we go along. So it's great to have everybody here. Welcome to you, and welcome to those folks who are with us on YouTube or Zoom. Thanks for being with us from wherever you are. My name is Sky Kirshner. Shalom, welcome, namaste, and aloha. Thanks for being who you are, and thanks for being with us today. The Power of Intention discussion group is continuing Thursday. This will be our last one before the holidays, and we also we will not have the usual discussion after the service because Alexa and Stephen have this amazing extravaganza of gift baskets to distribute. So thank you for all of that, and please stay with us immediately after the service because we will begin distributing those right away. The mission of Unity of Kanawha Valley is to provide you with a welcoming community of love, acceptance, and encouragement of your spiritual growth. We celebrate our unity in being alive together. We affirm our diversity, that each of us is on our own journey of growth. It's my hope that you will feel welcome while you're here, that you'll feel free to be yourself, and that you feel free to explore some ideas that might be useful in your life. Today, we're talking about the idea of going with the flow, going with the flow. Prayer is an important part of what we're about here today, so let's do a short prayer right now. If you would soften your gaze, or if you feel safe, close your eyes. And let a smile come to your face. And notice how that feels as you smile. And would you say to yourself silently, I desire to be in the flow of God's love. I desire to be in the flow of God's love. And if you would imagine that you are standing or sitting in front of someone you love, someone who may be separated from you by time or by space and geography, even separated by the veil between life and death, conjure their image in your mind's eye. look at them in the eye, imagine them looking back at you, and say to them, thank you for being with me on this journey. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. And if it feels comfortable, if you would turn to the person next to you, maybe give them a friendly touch, and say to them, thank you for being with me on this journey. I want to thank each of you for being here today. I noticed that we're slowly starting to come back to Sundays live. Each Sunday it seems like more and more folks on Zoom, more folks here. It's so good to see everyone. Your being here is a part of the world that we're creating together. Every small thing you do today makes a difference in your life and in the life of those around you. I want to thank the universe, God, the source of all life and love, for another day of life on this amazing journey. I want to thank everyone who's made this service possible. A moment of gratitude for Stephen and our board of directors, Barbie, Rich, Peggy, Laura, Susie, and Laura, David, and Sally. Sorry, I always keep the past board members, and I don't have any idea who Susan is, but I have Blue on here. I just don't want to let anybody go, so I have to kind of edit as I'm going. For Pam, our church hostess with the mostest. For Jeff and Ron, our unmasked marauders of music. For Peggy, our worship leader today. For Ernie Kessel, who is let's hear it for Ernie. Ernie is our Zoom hostess with the mostest. She keeps everything, she keeps the rowdy bunch. We don't even let them in the building. They are so rowdy. She keeps them together, and they have amazing discussions after the service. For Rich and Danny, our Zoom meisters, who are doing double duty today. Let's hear it for Rich and Danny. For our amazing prayer chaplains, for Janet and Sharon and Marianne and Laura and Alexa. Thank you all for bringing us that quiet presence. For our daily word reader today, who is... Gosh, we don't have one. We'll find one. Would anyone like to read the daily word today? Who would? There's another honeydew, David. Well, you can get this one off your list in the next 10 minutes. So thank you, David, for reading it. And we don't have any kids today, but Sally where's Sally? Sally has just been kicking it in the kids last week in Sunday school. They heard the music. They didn't want to leave. They just stayed there. They stayed there for 10 minutes after the service. So you're doing an amazing job. And the kids, the Unity Kids Kindness Camp is going wonderfully. And let's hear it for our junior bell ringer today, Lori Elgo. Thank you for ringing our bell. And I want you to know that I continue to lift up every member, friend, and visitor every day. And I'm so grateful for the chance to walk with you on our journey together. And I want to remind you that God is our source. The pen is in your hand, and a new day is dawning for us all. One more thing.
Don't you have an announcement to make?
I didn't think I did. I'm glad to be here. Peggy would like me to announce that I am retiring from the Kanawha Pastoral Counseling Center. I decided with Medicare, you know, when you get to Medicare, it's like, how did this happen? And then I had some friends who passed away who were my age abruptly. And then I realized, you know, after 32 years, it's time for new leadership. And, I don't think that could emerge even if I took a step from the background, so I've taken a step completely away. And what that means for us is I will be here more often and more. That's the part you wanted to hear. So thank you very much. I'm excited about this. It feels really exciting and free to kind of think about, okay, so what do I want to do next? And the juices are flowing again, and now I feel like I'm 50. So who knows? So just go figure. Thank you for that. Well, let's join together in appreciating this present moment. This is really all we have, is the present moment. The past is already gone. The future is to be announced, to be determined. We're certainly reminded by our friends in Kentucky who have suffered some devastation and all along the tornado corridor, that we can't really count on the permanence of anything. And so we celebrate this present moment by bringing our attention to it. And we recognize ourselves as alive and spiritually connected to the author of all creation in this present moment. And so let's begin by noticing the sounds in the room. The heater kicking on, shifting and adjusting to get more comfortable in your body. We listen. You might notice the sense of being in your body. The points of contact between your body and the floor, your body and the pew or the bench. The way the air feels on your skin. The muscles in your face. The muscles in the jaw and the neck. Shoulders. You might bring your awareness to your breathing. This miracle of circulation. The bringing in and receiving. The holding on. The release and letting go. And the resting. All of life is defined by this cycle. Taking in and receiving, holding on, releasing and letting go, resting. And we notice that this is the symbol, this is the metaphor for all of life and all of love. We do the same thing in our relationships. We do the same things in our professions. We do the same thing throughout the day with our creativity, with our abundance, with our sense of guidance, with our health. Jesus said, "Seek ye the kingdom is within." And so we contemplate the meaning of this teaching. We go within, seeking what may be found there for us today, in this moment. This is a place of abundance and sufficiency, this kingdom within, this spaciousness within ourselves. This is a place of wholeness and healing and health. This spaciousness within. This is a place of love and connection, of attraction, of repair and forgiveness and reconciliation. And this is a place of guidance, a place where the still small voice still speaks, a place we go to listen and to hear. And it's from this place that we reach out to anyone and anywhere in any need or trouble. Those who have suffered losses. Those living in fear. Those living in pain. Those who are anxious for the future and regretful for the past. Those suffering with addiction. We see you in our mind's eye. The woman sitting on the stoop of her house in Kentucky, which has been completely destroyed. We see you in our mind's eye. We reach out to you. We know that the presence of God is spread equally throughout this world and this universe. We know that awareness of God's love is possible to all people in all circumstances, at all places, in all times, without exception. And for this, we are very grateful. Thank you.
The daily word for today is love. The affirmation, love lights my way. In this Advent season, as I prepare my heart for the rebirth of my inner Christ child, I take a moment to connect with the spirit of love within. Sometimes, this season may seem to be about presents and food and celebrations, but it's really about love. Love is the power upon which the whole world revolves. Especially in this busy time of the year, I want to stay attuned to the love of Christ within. Through this reciprocal power, the love I give returns to me abundantly. Love transcends all, transforming any perceived negativity into a blessing. I express love in all my words and actions. I may give a plate of homemade food or send a heartfelt note of appreciation. Whatever I do, I let the love in my heart be my guide. The scripture is from Mark chapter 12, verse 31. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater.
Sorry. They didn't have a house, no crib, they were waiting. Still they had their love for the child they were anticipating. He was born one winter's night on a road between two towns, and they wrapped him up so warm and tight, it looks like heaven's coming down. And there was a new star shining in the sky up above. By his light that winter's night, they found peace and perfect love. If we want to find it, I know we always will. 'Cause there's a new star shining for us still. They worried how to feed him, winter's night, they found peace and perfect love. If we want to find it, I know we always will. 'Cause there's a new star shining for us still. If we want to find it, I know we always will. 'Cause there's a new star shining for us still.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Jeff. We don't have any kids today, so that means, well, we have one. Laura Lee. Oh, my goodness. Nice. Wow, big smiles. Let's just take that moment, yeah. Well, when I heard that Lori Helga was coming, or was going to be in town and was planning on coming to uni, I said, "Oh, would you just tell us something about your life?" Lori's a psychologist. We've known each other for years and years, and most recently, I think we were in one of the Artist Way groups together. An amazing, amazing artist. So come up and tell us about what's going on in your life, and take as much time as you want, and I will fill in whatever you don't.
Yeah, I warned Sky that I may not say a few words. So I don't have anything planned to say, but I know people ask, the big burning question is, what is it like to live in paradise? The simple answer is it's pretty nice.
Catch us up on where you are and how you wound up there.
Okay.
Also, Barron was.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, many permutations later. So, Barron, my husband, most of you know him. He served in Afghanistan as a legal advisor, starting out a legal advisor in a rule of law program. Starting in 2010, I think it was, and was there for 5 years total. Had a year back home in between, and of course, we're grieving a lot now, what's happened there. And he's been part of a self-appointed rescue team to try to help people get out of there now. But he was ready for a break after he came home. 3 weeks after he came home, there was a percussion explosion that destroyed the room he stayed in. So we're very grateful for his safe return, and he needed a break. And we also wanted warmth. So we started looking at, it was transition time, places that we might work and live where there's an ocean nearby. And there's a medical school, at that time was in Dominica. And I applied, got the position. Then they were hit by a Category 5 hurricane and completely destroyed. So I didn't know, there was no communications. I didn't know if I'd have a job. Eventually, they connected, and yes, they still wanted me on board, but they wanted me on board a ship where they'd be temporarily having school off of St. Kitts. And I imagined, oh, wow, teaching on a luxury cruise ship. This cruise ship was an Italian ship that was more of a ferry. I mean, it did have a pool that was shut down with a cover over it. We had to get on the ship at 4 a.m. Every morning because they only had room in port for so long because of other cruise ships. A lot of rescue missions were using cruise ships at the time, so they were actively helping people who were recovering, needed to be transported or have a place to live after the hurricane. So we lived in St. Kitts. I saw the most beautiful sunrises. So that was my reward for getting on the ship. And fortunately, we only had to be on the ship when we taught, and otherwise we could work remotely, which has now become a thing. So after that, and Barron was, enjoying beach life and taking up whatever hobbies. He gets bored easily, so he's been through many hobbies, including a very, very short stint with a javelin, but that's in storage. Yeah. So anyway, the ship didn't work out so well. Students had to live in these little tiny rooms on board. They got a lot of studying done because they couldn't do much else. But then we went to Knoxville temporarily to a campus there and lived there for a while. And I'm thinking, I signed up to be in the Caribbean, hello. So I got a fake palm tree, which is now on our deck. But then we ended up in Barbados. Barbados, low hurricane risk, although we got the first one since we moved there, the first one in decades. It was not a big deal. But Barron, by this time, was bored and got a position with Ross, too. He'd gone through, enough hobbies to realize he actually wanted to work again. When we arrived in Barbados, we were looking for homes, and we went to, we found this townhouse overlooking the sea, and I think it brought tears to Barron's eyes, because after being in Afghanistan, he said, this is where I want to be, and so that's where we're living. And I'm in constant awe of the beauty around me. I just am stunned. I mean, you can watch flowers bloom from, they just grow. And the sunsets, I know I probably annoy people with my number of no, okay. It's amazing to me because, we get so accustomed to things, we don't notice the blessings, but the sky just keeps coming up with new tricks to put me, and so I can't help it. I have to take pictures all the time. So I love that about Barbados. There's a downside, and during COVID, we endured the loss of our first grandchild and had a very hard time getting to be with our kids, so that was hard. So that is getting better. We do have an international airport, and I don't care what it takes. Sky knows my husband and I have traveled a lot. We've been in Istanbul. I just went on a Greek Odyssey cruise, putting spit in a vial every morning to test for COVID and wearing masks and I don't care, because it's a core value to travel. It's not easy to get to Charleston, and most of my family's not here anymore, except this kind of family. And I would say that it was, I can say that Ayla Achad brought me here. She didn't ask me to come in a direct sort of way at all. But I think COVID and what you said, Sky, about we can't rely on anything. COVID brought that home to us, and we can't rely on people being here tomorrow. And I work with the psychiatry club at our university, and so I wanted to bring in a psychiatrist for a panel, and I thought of a mentor of mine from Minnesota. I looked her up. I thought, it'd be so nice to reconnect, and she would be great for this panel. She's gone. Cancer took her. I started thinking, okay, I treasure my friends in Charleston. It's a pain in the butt to get there. And we only have so many US days that we can spend. So they usually go to our kids, of course. And then Ayla was sick. And I'm like, okay, I got to do this. I got to go and see my friends. And she left us before I could come here, but I'm grateful to her for bringing me here. And I've had the most incredible week. And I think, I was thinking about this sitting here. It's like when I think of what God is, God has been prepared to me from a child as a man, a very narrow image of an authoritarian man. And that never worked for me. And I struggle with what is God? And I need a bigger image of that. But I thought about what is God? This is God. This is God. You all are the most loving place I've ever worshiped, and so I'm really grateful to be here. And thank you for letting me share this, because you all mean so much. And I am a horrible churchgoer, as Guy knows. And every time I come, I'm welcomed with open arms. So I'm very grateful to you and to be able to be here. To just round out the view of paradise, though, I am here on a birthday week, and I'm so excited because I've been collecting presents. Because in Barbados, I just tell people, do not mail anything, because not only will you pay more for the postage than what you've purchased, I will pay more in picking it up for the purchase than what it's worth. But I am so grateful. We won't be there forever, but I tell you what, I'm so glad there's sun here, because after living in sun all the time, I'm like, who turned the lights off when I came here? Just one more thought. Is that Amy Williams, my dear friend Amy Williams, had helped me set this up as a professional development experience. And I've been doing a mindfulness in nature, scam. It's just, my son would call this a scam. Oh, right. It's like, oh, wow, I can do this? But I'm in training to be a natural mindfulness. Yeah, it's a kind of therapy. And so I've been walking in this cold and wind and wet and decay, and I've been noticing the life among decay. And I think this has really been a theme for me. I do not like decay. I do not like monochromatic colors. I grew up with that. I paint in as vivid colors as I can. I don't like this stuff. I don't like, and yet I kept finding these bursts of life that looked more vivid because the backdrop was decay. And I think that's something that Ayla brings here too, is that attention to the preciousness of life when there is the backdrop of decay and death. And I can tell you, as painful it was to lose our first grandchild, I am amazed at the emotional courage of my son and his wife, and what that little boy, they named him Barty, taught us. And so I'm learning, and this journey too is a part of that, walking among all that wet, gooey leaves, and then finding bright berries on the Kanawha, on the carriage trail. It's like, wow. So I'll leave it with that. Wow. Thank you so much.
Well, I was going to talk about the flow today, but that was such a full. Yes, Danny. What about the Advent candle? Would you like me to light it? All right, Danny, we'll light the Advent candle. You're welcome. So, Danny, we light this candle for the shepherds, and we light this one for parents, Mary and Joseph, and we light this one for the star. All is well with the world. I loved everything that you said there. I was visiting someone yesterday, and there was a clematis blooming. What? Since November, it's been blooming. But I'll just say one thing. I love this idea of God, and I was thinking this morning about why I think of God as the universe, because that's my image of God. Also, this idea of flow, but I'll say more about that some other day. And speaking of the impermanence of life, some of you know that I had a Prius with a license plate that said "The Flow," and the flow is Eric Butterworth and also Wayne Dyer's way of thinking of God. That God is a flow. That God is the flow. People would scratch their head and say, what's with that license plate? In fact, I was driving through Charleston on the interstate and got pulled over by a policeman. David was in the car, and he was young, and I said, okay. And I was explaining to him, the policeman's pulling us over, and he said, what's wrong? And I said, I don't know what's wrong, but when a policeman pulls you over, you stop, and you're respectful, and you have your hands on the steering wheel. And, so the policeman came up and he said, everything okay? I said, hey, is everything okay? He said, yeah. I saw your license plate and I was just wondering if you were a urologist. True story, right? So, but God as a verb rather than a noun. I think of God as the universe, God as in the universe, because there's no place that God is not. And every cell is, everything is God. It's the Apostle Paul says, refers to God as that within which we live and move and have our being, right? It's like, well, what is that? I mean, are we a dream that God's having? I don't know, but I love that, all of that. So I'm just going to go with the flow. Very full message today, Lori, and thank you so much for bringing us the tears and the laughter of life. I really appreciate you. Let's see if there's anything else. No, I think that's it for today. So, because we're going to be here, right? Distributing Christmas baskets. Who's taking us into the offering? Sharon, thank you.
Bless these ushers coming forward. Let's say our offering blessing together. It's in your program. Divine love, moving in and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, I trust God, and I am grateful.
I'm just a spoke in the wheel, one grain of sand, but it feels so good to be right where I am. One little part of a much bigger plan, and the longer I'm here, the more I understand. I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun, when it's all said and done. I am one, we are one. I'm just one drop of rain that falls from the sky, that runs to the stream, to the ocean by and by. And I could do worse than to give myself up to the crest of this wave on this ocean of love. And I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one. One gentle touch, one loving word, one single step towards a kinder world. And I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one.
This morning, as we reflect on the divine idea of prosperity, we recognize that it is unlimited, more than sufficient to meet every need. We know true prosperity when we live from this truth. As I give freely and generously, prosperity is at the forefront of my consciousness. I know that the more I give, the more I place myself into circulation, the more I experience. As I give of myself, I increase the flow of prosperity in my life and in the world. We give thanks to God this morning, and we bless this offering and each and every person who contributes to making this a beautiful place of love. And we celebrate the truth of prosperity. And so it is. Amen.
And now, if you'd like to join me in our circle, we'll do our closing song. Do we have any birthdays? Laurie has a birthday. Anyone beside Laurie have a birthday?
Isaac's is Friday.
Isaac's birthday's Friday. Happy birthday. How many years? 16, 17? 17. 17. Woohoo! All right. Anybody on Zoom have a birthday? Happy birthday to Zoom. So let's do it, Ron.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lord Isaac. Happy birthday peace on earth.